This is IBM Museum. This video is a little bit overdue. I planned this a few weeks ago, and it's not really, a real critical announcement or anything like that. But I'm very aware that I've been inactive on the channel and not doing even the intense video schedule I had of trying to do. There was even points I was doing a few videos a day, or at least one video a day right at the start of the year. And I did intend to kind of scale that back a little bit. But this video is really over the channel name. It's when I went through and set this up on YouTube, it had to be two different words of the IBM Museum, and people may get a false assumption from that it's a museum not necessarily affiliated with IBM, but showing IBM devices. And of course, viewers of the channel, they've seen those NCR systems, the reply stuff, and even among the tweener systems I have back here, I've got my Windows XP system on top. It's really funny that the labels are blurred on those. So I have little labels below the and I don't know if they're just happening to catch the light the right way. They're not really angled for the for light from the overhead. I've got LED strips up there, but all those identify as that they're XP 32-bit on the top, Windows Vista 32-bit, and Windows Vista 64-bit. And I do happen to use the 32-bit version of XP as my so-called tweener system. It's an in-between system, just because it does have that diskette drive on it for making diskettes for my system. But I equally use those systems, and the point I'm getting to is that that XP 32-bit system has IBM on it, but the Vista systems are labeled as Lenovo, the brand that bought the PC division from IBM. And so viewers have seen those Lenovo systems as well. So it's not locked down to just where it has IBM on it. I intended actually for it to be together, IBM Museum, with no space, and that being the moniker that I've used online for a very long time now, along the lines of probably a couple decades at least, and probably even approaching 25 years. And that would be more where the channel would reflect my own interest. I intended from the beginning to have even networking stuff that I do in pfSense, just other things that I have an interest in, not necessarily being a museum per se for the IBM side or the related systems like that. And what pushed me a little bit is that I've got in some, clearly in this day and age, you can't have, your daily driver is not going to be an IBM system. It can't be branded that way because it's just, there doesn't exist anything in the modern age now with IBM brand on it that's functional enough to use online or anything like that. It's going to be Lenovo, and I do indeed use a lot of Lenovo systems around. And then I've got other systems, of course. I've got Dell's and HP systems, and configured the right way, they can be good enough. I don't really regard it as being disloyal to IBM or Lenovo systems. I like a little bit more. I just go with what I have and what I use to do things. And but a few weeks ago, I got in some surplus little they call it the small form factor, the really miniature HP systems. And I'll probably be going through those a little bit later on. You know, not that to really upset people or anything else. There's still a little bit of a retro PC aspect. But it just shows that I'm not necessarily just focused on the IBMs, or it's not just going to be focused even on a computer aspect either, with more of what I intend to throw in to the channel at a future point. And of the small form factors, I mean, it will be likely an IBM system that I'll cover next, of this very small, and I think it's even branded as a Think Center back when IBM had them. And this thing is just, it's cramped, and I'll go through and show the aspect that I've got actually a Sound Blaster board in there, and it supports a single PCI slot. And so I've gone through and modified that, but we'll show that on the video. And that's how I link in the Creative Labs Audigy box there. And I do that for having the MIDI input and output from that external box. And it gives me a little bit more of the connections that I can have on the external Audigy box than what the system supports. So the system's real nice and everything else, and I have Windows XP running on it. But I'll go through and I'll open up that, and just to show a little bit of that aspect. I've worked with the other Think Centers that are there on the left in the past, and going in there and adding keyboard and mouse connections through the little dongles that and you know, covering over the registry changes that are needed for that. So but I felt a channel update was necessary at this point, just to give I was even starting to get some Instagram posts of people contacting me through email, and after not seeing content, I don't know if it's a viewer that just wasn't seeing what he expected as content or anything else, and saying, "Are you okay? You know, are you are you still alive?" basically. And so that's to address that, and I could maybe do a couple more Instagram posts just to kind of kick those out on a regular basis, just to show I am alive and still plan to work at the channel. It took me watching some David Bombal videos, I mean, to get, I maybe need to watch more of them for him to get me motivated. He's a great motivator on some of the stuff that he does. And just to kick it into gear. I know that we're going through, summertime and long days and everything else, but I need to get back being very active on the channel again, and putting out content. I've now surpassed over 300 subscribers, and it was just at 300 the other day. I thought, yeah, that's the primary push for me to provide a channel update for just a recognition of that milestone. And of course, as always, I'd like that subscriber count to be higher, but it seems to grow more, of course, when I do put up more video. And then at some point, the YouTube algorithm is going to recognize me a little bit more, and where I'll be a little bit more searchable, and people can find me online, and I'll go through and post some links to the video too. But it was this was a little while in the coming to provide an update, and my next one, I'm not going to do another video tonight, but I hopefully will go through and soon to get this little unit opened up once to get it clean. I'm going through the cotton swab and and getting the dust out of every little one of those possible recesses on the front of it. And then I'll go through and open it up and show that on video of what it has inside and how cramped that is. So, but that is all I have for now. Looks like I went over a little bit over 10 minutes. I'm not monetized yet or anything else like that. I am getting, I'm happy to get another Patreon subscriber. Please consider that aspect. I have a very devoted cheerleader out there that's also into the retro stuff. I can forgive him for doing a lot of the compact stuff or the even though he's done some of the thin client stuff I'd like to show lately too. But that's a shout out to Chris. He's got a great channel as well. I can link that in the description. He has a lot more subscribers than me too. Probably got 3 times the numbers of subscribers. And he's churning out those videos. I mean, they're coming out on a regular schedule. He's got a little bit more of how those are queued up. And so, but I really like the support I see out there. I mean, it's been very strong from Chris. But I also look forward to a little bit of the help on the financial side as well. It helps me have a little bit, or even feel a little bit more worthwhile, that my content is reaching people, that they feel an aspect that they even like to throw a little bit of money at me, and that every bit of that little amount helps. But if you're not subscribed to my channel, please consider that. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, click on that like button. I always like to hear feedback as well. I've reviewed some of the videos I've had. I do have a little bit of a steady stream of comments on there, and I try and answer every comment that's made and give feedback myself for what's on the channel, even taking that constructive criticism. But by all means, leave comments and pass this channel along to your friends. But that is all I have for now. This is IBM Museum. Thank you.